Hi, this is Kelly Brown, and today we're going to talk about conditional formatting, but not just any conditional formatting. We're going to use formulas with our conditional formatting. What I'd like to do is, if I'm looking at my worksheet here, I have language arts scores in column G and math scores in column F. I would like a certain format to take place when the cell in column G is greater than, or the value of the cell in column G is greater than the value in the cell in the corresponding row in column F. So in this case, if I looked at column G and the value in this cell is 820, and the cell in the corresponding cell in column F is 811, 820 is greater than 811, and I want the cell 820 to be formatted a certain way to designate that. So we're going to use conditional formatting to do that. So I'm going to click and drag to select the cells where I want the conditional formatting to take place. Then I'm going to go to the ribbon and make sure the Home tab is selected. Then I'm going to go down the ribbon to the right and click on the Conditional Formatting button. I'm going to click on Conditional Formatting, and I'm going to go down the task pane until I see New Rule. I'm creating a rule for this to work. So I click on New Rule. I get a new formatting rule window that appears. It says at the top, select a rule type, and the last choice here says use a formula to determine which cells to format, and that's exactly what we want to do. So I'm going to click on that. When I click on that, I get different options below. It says edit the rule description, format values where this formula is true, which means when the formula is true, that's when the formatting will take place. So I have to enter the formula in this box right here. And when I enter a formula, the first thing I have to do every time is hit the Enter key. After I hit the Enter key, I'm going to click in the cell in column G. Then I'm going to click on the greater than symbol. Then I'm going to click on the cell in column F. Now you may notice there are some dollar signs in the cell references here. Those dollar signs mean that these are absolute cell references, which means they are looking at only the locations of these two cells, nothing else in G or F, only those two cells. And that's not really what I want it to do. I want it to stay in column G and I want it to stay in column F, but I want it to go down the rows and apply to all the cells that have numbers in these rows. So to do that, I have to use a mixed cell reference, which means I need to take that dollar sign out in front of the two. The dollar sign in front of this G means it will only look in column G, and the dollar sign in front of the F means that it will only look at column F. But I don't want the dollar sign in front of the number 2 because I want it to look at row 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and go down. The same case for in column F. So what I need to do is take away the dollar sign in front of the number 2 in both G2 and F2. If I select the entire formula and then hit my function 4 key one time, it changed, but this time it kept the dollar sign in front of the numbers and not the letters. So I'm going to hit the function 4 key again, F4 key, and now I have the dollar sign in front of the G but not the 2, and I have the dollar sign in front of the F and not the 2. So that's what I want it to do. I want it to only look at column G, but I want it to look down the rows to where all the cells in that row that have data. Okay, so now that my formula is okay, I need to select what format I want. So what format will apply when this formula is true. So it has a preview, it says no format set, and then it says format. I'm going to click on that format button to the right. And I have choices for formatting. I can click on the font and change the color or the size or the font style. I can click on border. I can change whatever kind of border is, the color, the width, all that kind of stuff. Or I can click on the Fill tab at the top. There's Font tab, Border tab, Fill tab. I'm going to choose to change to format the fill when the formula is true. And I'm going to choose a yellow color so I can really see it. So when that formula is true, I want the fill color to be yellow in that cell. So I'm going to click OK. And now looks like I have everything in place. I have the formula in place, I have the formatting in place, and I'm going to click OK. And now when you look at the cells in column G, you see that some of them are formatted with that yellow fill color. So let's see if it worked correctly. sorry, when I look at this fill color of yellow, the value in column G is 820. The value in column F is 811. So 820 is greater than 811. So that's correct. There should be that formatting there. Here, 815 is greater than 812. So that's why I see that yellow fill color. And here for 828 is greater than 822. And so on. So it worked really well. So I was successful in getting my formula to determine what cells in column G would be formatted. Now I chose that only the cells in column G would be formatted because I selected those cells first. But I could also make this apply to rows. If I wanted to say that if that formula was true, that whole row would be formatted, I could do that as well. Again, I would select the cells where the conditional formatting was set. Again, click on the conditional formatting button. And this time I'm going to go to the very end where it says Manage Rules because I want to make a change to that rule. I click on Manage Rules. It shows me that formula, it shows me the format, and it shows me where it's being applied. And it's being applied in column G from cell G2 through G12. Well, this is where I want it changed. I don't want it applied to only column G. I want it applied to all the rows. So I have my cursor blinking in where the Applies To button. I'm going to go over to the worksheet data and I'm going to click and drag to select the rows that I want it applied to. Okay, so now it says it's rows 2 through 12. I'm going to click this Apply button over to the bottom right here. Click Apply. And when I click Apply, see there's a change to my worksheet here. I'm going to click OK. And now, in the cell in column G where the formula was true, 820 is greater than 811, the whole row is formatted with that fill. And here, where the cell 815 is greater than the cell the cell in column G is greater than the cell in column F, the whole row is formatted. And here, where the cell in row G is greater than the cell in row F, again, the whole row is selected. So that's another way that you can customize your conditional formatting through the rules. Okay, so good luck with formatting. It's really great.